What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be installing the Lightech chain adjusters. The reason I chose to install the Lightech chain adjusters is, well, for one, I think they look the best compared to the competition on the market. They are shorter compared to some others. They don't come out too much out from the swing arm from this side. But the most important reason I chose these is because they have an audible click for every half a millimeter of adjustment. The reason I care being that precise when it comes to chain adjustability is because I don't trust lines on a swing arm. What I actually do to adjust my chain is I measure the distance from the swing arm pivot here back to the rear wheel axle, and I measure this distance, and then I go from the other side of the bike, measure that and make sure it's equal. Now for me to do that, I have to remove the rear sets on both sides, because when you pass the measuring tape from here to here, you can't really do it if you're going above the rear sets. So this takes too long to do. So I needed a quick solution. I needed something that I can come very quickly, add some clicks, and know that I have equal distance on left and right to assure that your wheel and chain is aligned. The final reason I need these is because it requires less tools to make a quick chain adjustment. All you need to do is loosen your axle nut, add the clicks or remove the clicks that you want, tighten your axle nut, and you're good to go. That can literally take seconds, especially if you have power tools. Now with the traditional way, you have to take 13 millimeter and a 10 millimeter, loosen this, adjust it, which you can't really tell how much you've adjusted the chain because you have no audible click, so you're basically eyeballing it. Adjust it, retighten this, align the axle, tighten, and then you're good to go. So it takes longer. This is why exactly I wanted these to make my life much easier. All right, the first step will be to take a 32 millimeter socket to remove the axle nut. Okay, that's loose. So what I'll do is, before I remove the axle, I'm going to take the chain adjuster and I want to align this to be as close as possible to my current length of chain. So basically this will be going somewhere in here, around here. So it seems that my axle nut is basically where I aligned it. I currently have it at 3 millimeters. 1, 2, 3. So I know before I mentioned that I don't trust lines. For that reason, what I did is took my calipers here and I measured the distance from here to here. This distance in between is 9 millimeters when this is adjusted to 3 millimeters. And I also took the other side, measure the same, and this is also 9 millimeters. So on these, the lines are aligned. So whatever line I adjusted here, I will be adjusting on the other side. Okay, next remove the washer. Next the spacer. The carbon is here for me, so I can actually remove it. I have to push the axle inside a little bit. And slide it away from here, because the carbon fiber is actually right here and it's not allowing it to come off. Okay, next step, you will need a 13 millimeter and a 10 millimeter wrench. You're gonna push this axle as much as you can inside, right there. And we're gonna loosen the 13 first. There you go. Now loosen the 10 millimeter. We're going to remove this hole as one. Okay, this is one long screw. This is crazy. I don't know why they made this so long. Maybe someone would want to use an extended chain and use the rear axle up to here. Wow, that would be crazy, but yeah, this is a long screw. So I'm gonna do a test fitment. Obviously I cannot put it through here because I have the carbon, so I'm just gonna slide it from here and push it all the way in. And I'm realizing here two things. One is that I will have to push this all the way back in order to create space for me to use the screw that was provided with the kit in order to secure this right there. And the next thing is that I think I will not have to remove the rear wheel as I thought I would have to, because I know that this bracket here in the back, I was under the impression that I have to loosen it and re-screw it from here, but it seems that once you slide it in, it just aligns with the swing arm perfect as it came from the factory. So that there's really nothing you should do here, which is odd because in the instructions it does say to screw this and align it. It seems perfectly aligned to me, so I will leave it as is. So I will just push this all the way back. I remember that I have a 3mm, screw the screw there, and then bring this back here. Okay, so the kit comes with a 5mm Allen screw that will go through here and will be screwed here. But before we do this, I checked this and it seems a little loose, which means, and based on the instructions, we're going to remove these 4mm hex screws and add blue Loctite and retighten them. Now what I do here is I'm going to make the one tight so I can keep it in place, make the other loose, remove it, add the blue Loctite, and tighten for now, remove the other one, repeat the process. So I'm going to use a ratchet to tighten these. Now they do have torque settings in the instructions. I'm not going to use torque settings for these. I'm just going to go hand tight, go by feel. Basically once they're tight, go like an eighth of a turn, and they're good to go. Okay, now we have to bring this all the way to the back. To do that, we're gonna have to screw this opposite way. Now, as you can see, that can take longer because it has the audible clicks. Now, the instructions say this 3mm hex screw underneath it. In the instructions, it says do not remove this. Of course, if I read do not do that, of course I'm gonna go do it. So I did remove it because I wanted to see what's in there. In here, there is a ball and a spring. So basically, the screw puts pressure on the spring onto the ball and it creates the audible clicks. If you remove this screw, what's gonna happen, this is going to turn freely. So you know what this does. Instructions say you don't need to remove it. I removed it for you. You don't have to do it. And at the same time, I added blue Loctite. So let's bring all this all the way to the back. Okay, that's all the way we'll go. Hopefully this is enough space for our ratchet to fit, and it's not enough space, which means I'm gonna have to use a hex key, not a ratchet. Okay, next step, we're gonna use the screw provided. This is a 5mm hex. We're gonna add blue Loctite. There you go, and screw it right here. Okay, you're going to screw it here, but you're going to leave a gap. The reason for this gap is because we want the screw to clear from behind, right here. Now the only problem for me is that I need to slide this in, and I cannot because I have to insert this from here. So I'm gonna have to push the carbon in, unfortunately. Or at least attempt. If this doesn't work for me, just because I have the carbon, I'm just going to remove the screw and screw it while I pass it from here. Okay, because I have the carbon and I don't want to break it, in my case, this will not be your case if you don't have carbon swing arm covers. In my case, I'm gonna have to insert this screw at the same time. Just like that. Well, unfortunately, I have to go one by one. This is gonna take a while. So basically I'm gonna pause the video while this is more inside, screw it in and resume. Now that it's all in, I'm gonna have to tighten it. I'm not a fan of hex keys, Allen keys, because I can't get the true feel of how much I'm tightening compared to a ratchet. But the good thing about this is it doesn't really matter how tight it is, because you're going to be inserting the actual nut, so it's going to keep it in place. So as long as it's tight enough, you're good to go. And all the thing you have to make sure is that this is aligned in the back properly, so it's not even moving, because this creates tension to this, so it remains in place. Tight enough. So now we have to bring this forward. Okay, now that this is in place, we have to remove the axle. But what I've done is I've kept the wheel in place, so while I remove the axle, I won't have to drop the wheel. So I'll go from the other side, pull the axle out. There you go. So the wheel remains in place. We don't have to move it. I'm gonna come here, repeat the process, the same process here, and then reinsert the axle and secure from the other side. Okay, the other side is also complete. And what I like about this system is that if you bring this all the way in to 0, it touches the screw. So basically, they've adjusted it where both sides, if it's on 0, all the way down there, touches the screw. You cannot turn it anymore. It's exactly 0 on both sides. So you don't even have to check the lines anymore. All you need to do is, for instance, for me to go to 3 millimeters, it's 12 clicks. I can just count 12 clicks and go to 3 millimeters. I can do that on both sides. So I don't even have to check lines. All I need to do is remember clicks, and I can adjust 1 and 1, 2 and 2, and so on. Okay, so it turns out if I have both at 0 millimeters, which means all the way in until it touches the screw, I have 25 millimeters of chain slack. That is tight, which means I cannot make the chain any looser. I have a 43 teeth rear, and this is what's causing this. I'm kind of lucky, because if I had, let's say, larger sprocket, I would have too much chain tension, and there would be nothing I could do, because I'm maxed out at 0, which is perfect because I have a 43. Now in the next video, I will be doing with the forged wheels the 42, which means the swing arm is gonna come a little further, so I'm gonna have to give it a few clicks. Another thing that I noticed is that when I try to adjust it by hand, when the axle is in, it's not as easy to adjust. So if you start going past 2-3 clicks, you may have to use a 10 millimeter. May, not for sure, may. It just can become a little tighter. But for the most part, this is great. Okay, once you have everything in place, the last part will be to insert the washer and the axle nut. Hand tight this first, and you're going to tighten this at, I do 100 Newton meters. I know there are a lot of discussions of how much you should do this. I've done 110. I think 120 is too much. I've done 110 or 100. I will be doing 100. All right, guys, install is complete. Rear axle nut torqued at 100 Newton meters, and I also added the Lightech axle sliders. These go perfect with each other. I think it completes the rear of the bike even more, with the carbon fiber, the gold chain adjuster. Guys, you won't regret installing these. These will give you so much more confidence knowing that your chain and wheel is perfectly aligned. So without a doubt, I highly recommend these chain adjusters. Now, guys, stay tuned because I finally have all the parts needed to install the forged wheels. But instead of me going to details, let me show you a preview. Here you go, guys. Cormoto Apex 6 forged wheels with Pirelli Supercorsa RSV4s, Brembo rotors, rear rotor, new sprocket with sprocket carrier for the new wheels, brand new screws and nuts for everything, brake pads by Versa Super RJLXX. I even got brand new ABS sensors. I wanted to have everything brand new for this install. So stay tuned because on the next video, I'm going to be putting all these parts together and installing them on my bike. Guys, if you like this video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one.